Good afternoon to one and all present here. Uh, Hello and welcome you all to today's webinar. I thank everyone for taking their valuable time out and being here today. We will be running a live session of the whole webinar, and thus, if you miss anything, don't worry, you will be able to catch it up later. To maintain a smooth continuity of the session, I request all the participants to mute off their microphones until required. And I also notify you that we will have question answer session at the end. So one can type their questions then in the text box. So without much delay, I would like to introduce you to the presenters of today's webinar. We have here Dr. Harsha Ramrakhyani. She has pursued her bachelor's from Government Physiotherapy College, Jamnagar, and MPT from Rajiv Gandhi University, Lakshmi College of Physiotherapy, Mangalore. Presently, she is working as an assistant professor at BITS Institute of Physiotherapy, Varnama. About her achievements, she secured second position in the competition at International Conference on Healthcare in Elderly in 2011 held at KMC Bangalore. She also presented a poster at the international level at Care Rehab 2019 at Singapore. She underwent for 2 days on an observational visit at the Institute of Mental Health, Singapore. So, I welcome ma'am on the behalf of the whole BITS fraternity. I welcome Harsha ma'am for being with us today. Without much allay, let's begin today's webinar and hence I request Harsha ma'am to take over and preside the session.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your warm welcome. Let's begin with today's webinar. I'll start it with the quote that nowadays it has been more
I'm
spreading on the
sorry.
internet.
Sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. Ma'am, your voice is echoing again.
Now it is okay.
Yeah, ma'am, it's fine.
Okay. So the quote that I'll start with is like mental illness has no face. So be very kind to even the smiling faces. Now the overview of the webinar. We'll learn about something regarding the introduction, definition of mental health, need of the mental health promotion, global health, and its
Harsha
target
ma'am,
population.
sorry to interrupt you, ma'am. Your voice is echoing. Ma'am, you remove the headphones or you can just switch off your microphone off your mobile. Just try and see. Ma'am,
Ma'am, now is it coming?
uh, yeah, ma'am, that's better.
So the overview for the today's webinar, introduction, definition, need of the studies, global health and its target population, how to diagnose a mental health, the role of physiotherapy, designing the physical therapy training, then about the physical rehabilitation, and what are the alternative therapies that we can use, what are the benefits of it, and what is the future scope. Now, the introduction. The health, which is referred to as a state of fitness and ability, or to a reservoir of a personal resources that can be called on when needed. The health promotion has been defined as an action and an advocacy to address the full range of potentially modifiable determinants of health. The WHO has defined health as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well being, and not merely an absence of disease or infirmity.
Ma'am, your voice is again echoing. Ma'am, please adjust your devices.
Ma'am, now it's fine.
Ma'am,
I
it's
have
still
muted
echoing,
it.
I think.
Ma'am, again is it going?
No, that's better, ma'am. That's fine.
Ma'am, I have actually reduced the volume of that devices. Now is it
Yeah,
fine?
ma'am. Yeah, it's fine, ma'am.
So, what is mental health promotion? Any action that is taken for protecting and improving the mental health can be a part of mental health promotion. It has also been defined as enhancement of the capacity of the individual families, groups, or communities to strengthen or support the positive, emotional, cognitive, and related experiences. Now, why there is a need of promoting the mental illness? As we have already seen that the stress in the definition which is given by WHO, they have stressed on the importance of the state of mental well-being so that the individual is able to deal with their daily stresses of the life and can contribute to his or her maximum capability. There is no health without a mental health. There is a reciprocal relationship with the well being and the productivity of an individual. If there is a sound mental health, then there will be sound productivity. The consequences of the mental illness can even result into the long standing social and economic failures. For maximum contribution, efficiency, and productivity of an individual to an society as well as in their personal life. Now, what is the global health and what are its core components? The global health, which is made up of two important components, namely the physical health and the mental health. In order to achieve a global health, one must have a sound physical health as well as the sound mental health. Now, the question may be arising in our mind, which health should we prioritize more, whether it's a physical health or a mental health? Now, the answer to this question is similar like the answer of the question which came first, an egg or a chicken. Jokes apart, it's like this, both the physical health and the mental health goes hands in hand. They have the relationship between the physical health and the mental health is intertwined. It's very complex. So in order to have a good physical health, one must have a good mental health also. Or in order to have a good physical health or in order to have a good mental health, the both should be the, it is like your physical health affects your mental health and your mental health affects your physical health. Now, what are the target areas of the mental health? The mental health, it works at the three levels, namely it works at the three levels: personal level, social level, and the environmental level. The target areas are healthy communities, the personal ability to deal with the social environment and the changes that are embedded in the environment, personal ability to deal with the one's internal psychological world, like feelings, thoughts, resilience, etc. We'll be seeing different age groups. Like first, we'll move forward on the school children and the adolescent group. School children and the adolescent group, they have to deal with the academic challenges and the peer pressure. This age group is also an onset of certain mental illness like psychosis and the substance abuse. In the studies, it was found that the mental health of the school children has an impact on the on their school performances. Now, what can be done in order to reduce this mental illness, specifically to this age group? First, that can be done for this age group can be an awareness regarding the mental health, the healthy interactive atmosphere at home, the healthy relationship between the child and the parents as well as with their friends, peers, various activities like inculcating the habit of reading encouragement for the outdoor activities, sports, etc. Playing the arithmetic games like Sudoku, various brain games have proven to have the beneficial effect on their mental health. Now moving forward to the another group of the population is an adult group. This group of population, it comprises the largest percentage of the working population. The distinct feature of this age group is also that both the extremes of the population group, namely the children and the older age group, are dependent on this adult group. The vicious cycle of an individual, it's like there is an increase in the psychological distress that has been found in this adult group, which may result into the limitation in their day-to-day activities, as a result of which there is an increase in their physical inactivity. And this vicious cycle goes on and on. Moving forward to another age group is the old age group. The issues that affect this age group are financial issues, the chronic illness, the financial insecurity, and the inadequate social support. The retirement life, the researchers have found that the retirement life, somebody take it as in the negative aspect also, as they may lose the status, their reduced social relationships due to the loss of close friends, family members, and the partners. The cognitive activity have proven to benefit the mental health. The cognitive activity may include the mental arithmetic like Sudoku and other crossword puzzles. Now, regarding the another section of the population is the women. Why there is a need to describe it differently? The mental illness affect women and men differently. The difference lies in their frequency and the presentation of illness. Both the genders appraise the stressful situation differently, and hence they perceive and react differently. Women are more vulnerable to certain mental illness due to the unique life cycle experiences, hormonal influences, vulnerability to violence and exploitation in the relationships, cultural factors, and gender discrimination. The risk of depressive disorders and symptoms alone being twice in women than in men. Now, how to diagnose whether the person is suffering or is having any mental illness? There are different scales by which we can come to know, yes, that might be a patient of mental illness, like the geriatric depression scale. The geriatric depression scale is mainly used for a geriatric population. The second being the depression anxiety stress scale. Third, perceived stress scale. Then WHO quality of life BREF. Then all this being targeted to the adult group population also, and also to the geriatric population. The next one, neuro quality of life. It has been applicable to the adolescent group also, adolescent, adult group, and the geriatric group. Next being the life satisfaction questionnaire 9 and sickness impact profile. These scales are also being referred for the adolescent, adult, and the geriatric, but not applicable for the children group. The limitation of these scales are they are the self-reported scales, and they are the self-reported scales, so the chances of biasness will be more. And the another thing, they are these scales are free of cost, and it's a self reported questionnaire. So these scales can indicate whether the patient are having some mental illness or no, but the severity of that mental illness is a drawback for this questionnaire. So, in after having this questionnaire, one must refer that so and so patient to the psychiatrist or the mental health expert. What is the role of physiotherapy in dealing with the mental illness? Though we don't play a direct role in treating the psychiatric patients, but we can improve the quality of life of patients through improving their physical health and alleviating their social disability. It includes evaluation of patients with the psychosocial disorders, open discussions with their family members, improving their participation levels in the community, motivation and the encouragement, providing the activities or exercises, refer to the psychiatrist in the severe cases. Now, what things should be kept in mind while designing the physical therapy training? Like the lifestyle modifications, monitoring the patients to ensure whether the group therapy is appreciable, see for the efficacy level of the patient, patient safety is ensured, treatment duration should not exceed 30 to 40 minutes and thrice a week. Now, some exercises for the mental health disorders. First being the relaxation technique, breathing exercises, general body flexibility exercises, hydrotherapy, biofeedback, aerobic training, strength training, balance training, postural re-education, gait training, and multi-sensorial stimulation. Relaxation technique. Some of the techniques that we already do in our practical, the studies have concluded that the biofeedback assisted relaxation technique is efficacious in decreasing the level of depression, anxiety, and the stress in patients with the substance abuse disorders. The next being the breathing exercises. It was found that the potential for the diaphragmatic breathing practice to improve the cognitive performance and reduce the negative, subjective, and the physiological consequences of the stress in the healthy adults. Next being the general body flexibility exercises. The meta-analytic review study, it was suggested that the exercise can be an effective adjunctive treatment for improving the symptoms across a broad range of mental disorders. Hydrotherapy. The results of the study suggested that the hydrotherapy had a positive effect on pain, quality of life, condition-related disability, and functional exercise capacity. It was also noted that following the hydrotherapy, the perceived benefit of the well-being was superior to the land-based exercise protocols in the cases where the water temperature was within a thermoneutral range 33.5 to 35.5 degrees Celsius. Another therapy is biofeedback. In the systematic review, it was found that the use of the biofeedback can improve both physiological and psychological indicators of stress. Biofeedback could provide an accessible and low cost addition to stress interventions. Aerobic training. From the randomized control trial study, it was concluded that the resistance exercise training and the aerobic exercise training improves the dimensions of the quality of life among the generalized anxiety disorders among the women patients. The largest effects were observed for the role impairments, physical function, vitality, and mental health. The next is strength training. In the systematic review of the current studies, it was taken from the 2008 to 2017. Studies which have randomized control design were included and had resistance training as an intervention were included. This meta-analytical study supported the promotion of resistance training in improving the health-related quality of life in the older adults. And the balance training. The findings from the randomized control study supported the use of perturbation training as it reduced the probability of falling, improved balance confidence for the daily activities, and improved quality of life. Now the postural re-education technique training. In an experimental study, the experimental group showed a significant increase in the cognitive abilities in the end of the treatment compared with the control one. There was a significant result found in terms of quality of life, depression, neuropsychological symptoms, autonomy, and equilibrium. Gait training. It was concluded that 26 weeks of dual task gait training, dual task it comprises of like different tasks like walking while talking. You can have the motor task while walking, like having a glass full of water and you can ask the patient to walk. That are the dual tasks. Or you can have a cognitive task while walking. And so it was concluded that the 26 weeks of the dual task gait training and an aerobic exercise improve the performance on a number of cognitive outcomes while increasing the usual and the dual task gait speed and step length in a sample of older adults without dementia. Now, the multisensorial stimulation. In this case study, researchers explored the effectiveness of a 6-week sensory modulation intervention for reducing the anxiety and improving the occupational participation. And it was found that there was a significant reduction in anxiety and improved participation, and it was concluded that the sensory modulation is an effective approach for the self-management of the anxiety. The other therapies include group therapy, laughing therapy, meditation, and yoga, counseling sessions, ergonomic modifications. All these studies have been found to have some beneficial effect on the mental health. There are other psychotherapies also which are given, which are incorporated in the population with a mental illness along with the medication. The other types of psychological therapies are like cognitive behavioral therapy, interpersonal therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, psychodynamic therapy, and psychoanalysis, which are given by the health expert, mental health expert, or a psychiatrist. The additional therapies that are proven to have some better results on the mental health are animal assisted therapy, like playing with the dogs or the pets, creative arts therapy like dance, music, painting, poetry, and the play therapy. Playing with the grandchildren and all has proven to have some beneficiary effects on the mental health in an older population. Now, what are the effects of exercises on the mental health? They are in regard for the children and an adolescent group, like it increases the self-esteem, it improves the social well-being, it improves the attention, helps in the decision making. Also, it improves the personal growth, reduces the risk of depression, it reduces the anxiety, which other than this, it improves the sleep, it improves the autonomy, it can provide the children with a more positive outlook of themselves, it increases the confidence and reduces the stress. The effect of exercise on the psychological well-being. Growth, mood, cognition, attitude, all are increased or all are improved through the exercises, mental health exercises, self-acceptance, friendship, depression is reduced, anxiety. It has been observed that these exercises and all these therapies should be included thrice a week, 3 to 5 times a week, not not like once in a week. Once in a week will not have any effect on the mental health. Now the last, what is the future scope of this? First, there is a dearth of more intensive research in this area of the mental health regarding the role of physical rehabilitation. Emphasis should be laid on promoting the mental well-being. As earlier we have seen, there is no health without a mental health, and your mental health really matters. Thank you.
That was really a very nice session, ma'am. Uh, now I open the question answer session of today. So please, if you have any doubts, you can text in the message box on your right side corner, right upper corner. Participants, if you have any doubts, you can text in the message box. Uh, Madam, there is one question from our participant, Dr. Jignesh Parmar. He's asking whether what is the main difference between anxiety, stress, and addiction?
Yes, ma'am. So the difference between the
Ma'am, can
anxiety
you
and
hear
stress.
me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. The addiction is something that we are continuously addicted. It can be anything like substance abuse is it's a kind of addiction only, and anxiety is like a mental it's a mental disorder which is characterized by like feeling tensed every time and not like fear of something that are strong enough that will interfere in your day to day activities. And stress it's a result of your anxiety. And I think I'm clear. Stress is a result of anxiety only.
Ma'am, we have another question uh, from Ziba Kazi. She asked whether what are the measures that can be done to promote mental health at community level.
Ma'am, there is a need for this. There is a need to be like in the physical in promoting the physical health. We are doing so many programs and policies are being made, but for mental health, like awareness should be created at the community level, in the school going children as well as in an adult group. In all the groups there is a need, there is a dearth for this, but it should be done to promote the mental health at a community level.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Do we have any other doubts? I think it was a very informative session because all the slides were self-explanatory, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So we wait for a minute to see whether if we have any doubts.
Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am, I think we are done with the doubts.
Okay, ma'am. Then
Okay, then, ma'am. So we proceed for the end of the session, ma'am. So I that was a really very nice session, and I thank you so much for sharing with us your explicit and insightful knowledge with us in the field of mental health promotion, which is of actually a great deal in today's life. So on behalf of BITS Institute of Physiotherapy, I thank our founder, president, and chairman, Honorable Shri Jagdishbhai Patel, sir, our CMD, Honorable Shri Dhruvbhai Patel, sir, and Joint Managing Trustee, Srimati Kamalben Patel, ma'am, for supporting us to organize this session. I extend my gratitude to our campus director, sir, Shri S.K. Patel, sir. I thank Dr. Mehul Jadhav, sir, Principal, BITS Institute of Physiotherapy, for giving us free hand to arrange this session. I also thank Dr. Sarfraz Nawaz Shah, sir, Vice Principal, BITS Institute of Physiotherapy, for helping us organize and preside the whole session smoothly. My special thanks to Dr. Avni ma'am, HOD, Computer Department, BITS Institute of BITS Institute, for her technical support in this webinar. I also thank Gade Dada, our graphic designer, for his great creative work. My sincere thanks to all the faculty members for lending their support directly and indirectly throughout the session. Last but not the least, I thank and appreciate a nice, enthusiastic participation in today's webinar. Once again, thanks to all of you. Ma'am, thank you so much.
ma'am, I would like to thank Dr. Mehul Zada, sir, our principal, and our vice principal, Dr. Sarfraz, sir, for their constant motivation and inspiration. I extend my gratitude to all my BITS Physio staff and team and all the participants for their cooperation. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, participants.